The 1930s were a tough time for Americans, as the Great Depression left many struggling to make ends meet. For those who wanted an affordable car, options were limited and budget models often came with engines that were anything but reliable. These engines were underpowered, poorly designed, and plagued with problems that made driving more of a chore than a joy. Here are 9 of the most frustrating engines in American cars of the 1930s that low-income buyers often encountered. Engines that were more of a pain in the ass than a help.
Dear viewer, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support.
Number 9. 1938 Plymouth Road King. The 1938 Plymouth Road King was Chrysler's attempt to create an affordable and accessible car during the economic recovery following the Great Depression. Equipped with a 201 cubic inch 3.3-liter inline-6 engine, the Road King was intended to appeal to budget-conscious buyers, providing basic transportation with Plymouth's characteristic simplicity. However, despite its affordability, the engine experienced several problems, including frequent stalling, carburetor issues, and low power output, which ultimately made the Road King a challenging choice for many buyers. By 1938, car manufacturers were striving to produce affordable vehicles that would appeal to a recovering market. Many families were looking for basic, low-cost vehicles to serve as practical daily drivers, so the demand for dependable, budget-friendly cars was high. The Road King was designed to fit this demand. It was an entry-level model aimed at drivers who needed reliable transportation at a lower cost. However, the engine's persistent issues and lack of sufficient power created ongoing frustrations for those looking for a long-term, low-maintenance vehicle. One of the most significant issues with the Road King's 201 inline-6 engine was its tendency to stall, particularly at low speeds or when idling. This problem was often exacerbated by insufficient power output, as the engine struggled to maintain a steady idle, especially in stop-and-go traffic. The carburetor on the 201 inline-6 engine was prone to clogging and misadjustment, which compounded the stalling problem. Inconsistent fuel delivery caused by the carburetor's unreliability led to unpredictable performance and made driving the Road King a challenging experience, especially for drivers who weren't mechanically inclined. With a modest engine displacement of 201 cubic inches, the inline-6 in the Road King produced a low level of horsepower, which was inadequate for many drivers' needs. Acceleration was sluggish, and the car struggled to maintain highway speeds or tackle inclines. This lack of power was especially noticeable when the car was fully loaded or driven in more demanding conditions. Given its weak performance, the Road King wasn't an ideal vehicle for anyone who needed to carry passengers or cargo over long distances. Many owners reported difficulty in achieving smooth acceleration and maintaining comfortable cruising speeds, which limited the car's functionality and appeal to budget-conscious buyers looking for a vehicle capable of more than just city driving. Due to the carburetor problems and the engine's stalling issues, owners found themselves regularly visiting mechanics. This presented a financial burden, as carburetor repairs and tune-ups added to the car's operating costs. For buyers with limited budgets, this frequent maintenance undercut the initial appeal of the Road King as an economical choice. The stalling and carburetor issues meant that the Road King often required extra care and attention to keep running smoothly. Many owners had to familiarize themselves with routine carburetor adjustments or rely on mechanics to keep the engine in functional condition, leading to extended downtime and additional repair expenses. Although the Road King was an affordable vehicle, its mechanical issues made it difficult for those on a tight budget to sustain. Frequent breakdowns combined with the stalling and carburetor malfunctions meant that buyers with limited financial resources found themselves in a constant cycle of repairs and adjustments. This made the car less attractive to its intended market, as it failed to deliver the dependability that low-income buyers prioritized. For buyers who initially chose the Road King because of its low price, the engine's unreliable performance was a significant disappointment. Many buyers expected a car that could handle basic commuting and daily driving without the need for constant repairs. Instead, they encountered frequent interruptions to their driving experience, reducing the car's appeal and resulting in buyer dissatisfaction. The 1938 Plymouth Road King highlighted the difficulties of producing an affordable vehicle that could still deliver adequate performance and reliability. While Plymouth succeeded in creating an entry-level car at a low price point, the engineering compromises required to achieve that price impacted the vehicle's long-term reliability. Had Plymouth invested in a more robust carburetor or designed an engine with higher power output, the Road King might have been able to establish a stronger reputation as a practical, low-cost vehicle. Instead, its underwhelming performance and reliability challenges prevented it from becoming the dependable car that buyers in this segment were seeking. Number 8. 1931 HUPmobile Series S. The 1931 HUPmobile Series S represents an interesting chapter in automotive history, particularly for its connection to the once prominent Hupp Motor Company. Known for producing stylish and mid-priced cars, HUPmobile tried to stay competitive during a tough economic era by offering models that balanced aesthetics and affordability. However, the 210 cubic inch, 3.4-liter inline-six engine in the Series S was a notable weak point, plagued by irregular idling, poor fuel economy, and frequent carburetor issues that impacted its reliability. The early 1930s marked the onset of the Great Depression, which drastically impacted car sales. As a mid-tier manufacturer, HUPmobile had to navigate these harsh economic conditions by creating vehicles that appealed to increasingly cautious and budget-minded consumers. HUPmobile's Series S was intended to be a balanced, affordable offering that could attract middle-class buyers looking for a blend of quality and cost-effectiveness. Unfortunately, the Series S struggled with reliability, making it a tough sell in an era when consumers were already hesitant to spend. One of the most significant drawbacks of the HUPmobile Series S engine was its irregular idling. The engine's design and fuel system setup led to inconsistency in maintaining a stable idle, resulting in frequent surges or dips in engine RPM. Irregular idling made the car difficult to drive smoothly, especially in city conditions where frequent stops were necessary. The unpredictability of the idle also increased the likelihood of stalling, which could be embarrassing and inconvenient for drivers. The 210 inline-six engine was notorious for its high fuel consumption, especially for a car aimed at budget-conscious buyers. In an era where fuel efficiency was essential, this flaw was a significant drawback for potential buyers. Given the economic difficulties of the 1930s, fuel costs were a critical consideration for car buyers. The Series S's inefficient engine meant that owners had to deal with higher-than-average fuel costs, making the vehicle an impractical choice for anyone trying to minimize their spending. The Series S engine's carburetor was known to be temperamental, often requiring adjustment or cleaning to function correctly. Issues such as clogging and improper fuel-to-air ratios led to inconsistent engine performance and affected both idling and acceleration. The carburetor's frequent malfunctions forced owners to perform constant maintenance, which added to the overall operating costs of the Series S. For drivers who relied on the car daily, this required either a solid knowledge of basic engine mechanics or a dependence on frequent mechanic visits, which only added to the financial burden. The Series S's unreliable engine required owners to spend more time and money on maintenance than anticipated. Carburetor repairs, idle adjustments, and efforts to optimize fuel economy turned into regular requirements rather than occasional upkeep. For buyers dealing with the financial hardships of the Great Depression, these recurring expenses presented a serious problem. Many buyers chose the HUPmobile Series S for its affordability, but its engine's frequent issues quickly offset any initial cost savings, leaving owners frustrated and financially strained. Middle-class buyers of the time, especially those hit hard by the economic downturn, prioritized dependability in their vehicles. The Series S's reputation for irregular idling, poor fuel efficiency, and maintenance challenges damaged its appeal to a demographic seeking practical and reliable transportation. For those who purchased the HUPmobile Series S, the engine's flaws often led to a sense of buyer's remorse. The car's promise of affordability was overshadowed by the constant need for repair and adjustment, frustrating owners who expected a more reliable vehicle for their money. The 1931 HUPmobile Series S and its 210 cubic inch inline-six engine provide a revealing look into the difficulties of producing affordable, reliable vehicles during the Great Depression. While HUPmobile aimed to create an accessible car, The Series S's irregular idling, poor fuel economy, and frequent carburetor issues made it a costly choice for buyers already struggling financially. The engine's unreliability ultimately contributed to a negative ownership experience, limiting the Series S's success and illustrating the consequences of engineering compromises. This case underscores the importance of reliability in budget-conscious vehicles, particularly during economically challenging times. For automotive historians and enthusiasts, the HUPmobile Series S remains an example of how technical flaws can impact a brand's legacy, demonstrating the necessity of aligning product performance with consumer needs and expectations. Number 7. 1935 Auburn 851. The 1935 Auburn 851 stands out as a symbol of pre-war American luxury and style, especially known for its Art Deco-inspired design and eye-catching details. However, beneath its elegant exterior, the 279 cubic inch, 4.6-liter inline-8 engine presented significant mechanical challenges, especially for owners who were not financially prepared for high maintenance costs. The engine's frequent issues with overheating, combined with a weak fuel pump and overall limited reliability, made it a costly and difficult vehicle for economically disadvantaged buyers to maintain. Known for producing stylish, high-performance vehicles, Auburn catered to an upscale market, appealing to buyers who valued both performance and design. The Auburn 851, with its iconic style and innovative features, exemplified this approach. While considered a luxury vehicle, the 851's pricing was more accessible compared to higher-end brands. As a result, it attracted middle-class buyers who sought both style and performance, but might not have had the financial cushion for extensive repairs. The 279 inline-8 engine was notorious for overheating, especially during extended drives or in warmer climates. The cooling system struggled to keep up with the engine's heat output, leading to frequent temperature spikes. Overheating not only affected immediate drivability, but also caused long-term wear on engine components, such as the cylinder head and valves. Persistent high temperatures contributed to faster degradation, increasing maintenance demands and repair frequency. The 851's fuel pump was another weak point, often failing to deliver a steady supply of fuel to the engine, particularly under demanding driving conditions. This issue led to frequent stalling and difficulty in maintaining consistent performance. Replacing or repairing the fuel pump was a common requirement, adding to the overall maintenance costs. Given the financial struggles of the time, many owners found the repeated need for fuel pump repairs to be a frustrating and costly inconvenience. The combination of overheating and fuel pump issues made the 279 inline-8 engine unpredictable, with frequent breakdowns that could occur without much warning. For drivers who relied on the car for daily use, this lack of reliability was a significant drawback. Repairing and maintaining the Auburn 851 was often beyond the means of economically disadvantaged buyers. The high cost of parts and labor meant that owners frequently had to choose between paying for repairs or risking further damage by delaying maintenance. The 279 inline-8 was also fuel-intensive, which added to the overall expense of operating the Auburn 851. For owners already dealing with repair costs, poor fuel efficiency only increased the financial burden. Given the cost of parts and frequent need for repairs, the Auburn 851 became a significant financial strain, particularly for buyers who were not wealthy. What initially seemed like an affordable luxury quickly turned into an ongoing expense that some owners found challenging to manage. Middle-class buyers, many of whom were attracted to the Auburn 851's lower-than-average price for a luxury car, found themselves unprepared for the maintenance demands. The car's unreliability made it impractical for those without the means to afford regular repairs. The ongoing issues with overheating and fuel pump reliability created dissatisfaction among owners, tarnishing the Auburn 851's reputation despite its style and performance potential. Many buyers expressed disappointment, feeling that the car's elegant design was overshadowed by its mechanical unreliability. The 1935 Auburn 851, with its 279 cubic inch inline-8 engine, is emblematic of pre-war American luxury that fell short in terms of reliability. The engine's tendency to overheat, combined with a weak fuel pump and high maintenance costs, made it an impractical choice for middle-class buyers hoping to balance luxury with affordability. These issues deterred some potential buyers and contributed to a legacy that, while glamorous, also illustrates the limitations of prioritizing style over dependability. For automotive historians, the Auburn 851 is a prime example of the challenges in producing accessible luxury vehicles that still meet the performance and reliability expectations of a broad audience. While the car remains admired for its beauty, its engine problems continue to serve as a cautionary tale in the history of automobile engineering. Number 6. 1932 Ford Model B. The 1932 Ford Model B was an important car in automotive history, marking Ford's attempt to produce a more accessible vehicle during a time of economic difficulty. Designed with a 201 cubic inch 3.3-liter inline-4 engine, the Model B was a bridge between the Ford Model A and the more powerful V8-equipped Model 18. While appreciated for its affordability and practicality, the Model B's inline-4 engine faced significant issues, such as rough idling, stalling, crankshaft failures, and underwhelming power, which collectively limited its appeal and practical use. Ford aimed to continue its legacy of producing affordable vehicles with the Model B, allowing consumers to access a reliable car without the costs associated with larger, more powerful engines. The Model B was marketed as a practical choice during the Great Depression, when economic hardships made vehicle affordability a critical concern. Released alongside the more powerful V8 Model 18, the Model B appealed to conservative buyers who were hesitant about V8 engines or preferred a simpler, more economical option. However, this inline-4 version struggled to keep up with the V8 in terms of both power and reliability. Approximately 50 horsepower, which was sufficient for basic driving, but fell short for those looking for more robust performance. The Model B's engine frequently suffered from rough idling, creating a bumpy and inconsistent driving experience. This could make the car difficult to drive smoothly, especially in urban settings or during traffic stops. The engine had a tendency to stall unexpectedly, often due to inconsistencies in fuel and air mixture within the carburetor. This problem was particularly inconvenient, as it could require frequent restarting and cause frustration for drivers who relied on their vehicle for daily transportation. The crankshaft in the Model B's engine was prone to failure, particularly under stress or heavy use. The limited durability of the crankshaft resulted in frequent breakdowns, especially for drivers who attempted to use the Model B for more than basic transportation. Crankshaft replacement was an expensive and labor-intensive repair. Given the economic conditions of the time, many owners couldn't afford to fix the issue immediately, leading to prolonged periods of downtime for the vehicle and additional expenses in the long run. The Model B's inline-4 produced around 50 horsepower, which, while adequate for leisurely driving, was insufficient for drivers who expected better acceleration or higher speeds. This limited power made the Model B feel sluggish, especially compared to other vehicles on the market equipped with V8 engines. Drivers who needed to navigate hilly terrain or carry heavier loads often found the Model B's performance lacking. The engine would struggle under these conditions, leading to frustration for those seeking versatility and robustness in their vehicle. The stalling issues, rough idling, and crankshaft problems meant that owners frequently had to take their Model B in for repairs and adjustments. This need for ongoing maintenance was especially burdensome for drivers during the Great Depression, as many could not afford the repair costs associated with frequent engine problems. The Model B's mechanical challenges made it less appealing in the resale market, which affected its value over time. Buyers became wary of the potential costs involved in maintaining the inline-4 engine, further impacting its long-term market appeal. Low-income buyers who relied on the Model B for essential transportation found themselves facing significant inconvenience due to the vehicle's mechanical issues. Unexpected breakdowns or prolonged repair times often meant losing valuable transportation, which could impact work or daily responsibilities. For buyers on a limited budget, the cost of frequent repairs or replacements, especially for a failed crankshaft, could be overwhelming. Many owners delayed maintenance due to financial constraints, which unfortunately often led to further damage and higher repair costs over time. The 1932 Ford Model B, with its 201 cubic inch inline-four engine, is a noteworthy chapter in the history of affordable American vehicles. While the Model B aimed to provide practical, cost-effective transportation, the issues with rough idling, stalling, crankshaft failures, and limited power detracted from its success. These challenges made it a burdensome vehicle for economically disadvantaged owners, as the high maintenance costs and frequent repairs placed additional strain on buyers during a time of financial hardship. Ultimately, the Model B reflects the delicate balance between cost and quality in automotive design. While Ford succeeded in making the Model B accessible, the vehicle's mechanical shortcomings highlight the risks of prioritizing affordability over durability. Number 5. 1930 Chevrolet Universal AD. The 1930 Chevrolet Universal AD was a notable addition to Chevrolet's lineup, aimed at providing drivers with affordable, dependable transportation during the economically challenging years of the Great Depression. This model featured a 194 cubic inch 3.2-liter inline-six engine, which Chevrolet promoted as a step up from the standard four-cylinder engines in terms of power and performance. However, despite its advanced design for the time, the engine was plagued by issues that frequently required costly repairs. These included oil leaks, weak pistons, and poor cooling, which diminished the Universal's reliability and practicality, especially for budget-conscious owners. Chevrolet aimed to produce an affordable car that would attract average consumers. The Universal AD was marketed as an economical choice, offering more power than previous models without the high costs associated with premium vehicles. The inline-six engine in the Universal AD was a significant selling point, as six-cylinder engines were often reserved for higher-end vehicles. Chevrolet used this model to bridge the gap, making six-cylinder power accessible to the average buyer. Approximately 50 horsepower, which was an improvement over Chevrolet's older four-cylinder models, but modest in comparison to competitors' engines of similar size. One of the most persistent issues with the Universal AD's engine was its tendency to develop oil leaks, primarily due to inadequate gasket sealing. Oil leaks led to messy engine bays and frequent oil top-ups, which added maintenance costs for owners. Over time, these leaks would accelerate engine wear, as the engine operated under less than ideal lubrication conditions. This meant that neglecting or delaying repairs could lead to more severe and costly engine damage, such as worn bearings or piston rings. The pistons in the 1940 engine were prone to wear and failure, especially under heavy use or extended drives. This was partly due to limitations in materials and manufacturing techniques of the time, which made the pistons vulnerable to cracking and damage under stress. Replacing damaged pistons was a complex and expensive repair, which was burdensome for owners during the economic strain of the Great Depression. As pistons degraded, performance would drop, leading to sluggish acceleration and rough engine operation. The Universal AD's engine struggled to maintain stable operating temperatures, especially in warmer weather or during prolonged driving. This issue stemmed from an inefficient cooling system, which was unable to dissipate heat effectively from the engine. Poor cooling could result in overheating, which posed a serious risk to engine integrity. Overheating could lead to warped cylinder heads, blown gaskets, and even cracked engine blocks, all of which required expensive repairs. For buyers hoping to avoid costly breakdowns, this problem made the Universal AD a gamble. The frequent oil leaks, piston issues, and cooling problems meant that owners often had to spend more on repairs and maintenance than they anticipated. For individuals already affected by the financial strain of the Great Depression, these costs were difficult to manage. Due to its recurring mechanical issues, the Universal AD was not always a reliable choice. Owners who relied on their vehicle for everyday transportation found themselves facing unexpected breakdowns, which could disrupt work or family obligations. For low-income buyers, the engine's frequent issues made it difficult to maintain the car. As parts wore out or failed, repair costs piled up, and delaying repairs often led to further damage, exacerbating financial strain on already tight budgets. Given its reputation for mechanical issues, the Universal AD's resale value suffered. Prospective buyers were often hesitant to take on a vehicle with known engine problems, which limited owners' ability to recoup costs when selling or trading the car. The 1930 Chevrolet Universal AD, with its 194 cubic inch inline-six engine, is a significant vehicle in Chevrolet's lineup, but one marked by notable engineering flaws. The engine's frequent oil leaks, weak pistons, and poor cooling design hindered its practicality, especially for buyers with limited resources. These issues required costly repairs, often burdening owners who had invested in the Universal AD for affordable, reliable transportation during difficult economic times. While Chevrolet aimed to innovate by making a six-cylinder engine accessible to the public, the Universal AD's mechanical problems reveal the risks involved when affordability comes at the expense of durability. This model serves as a case study in the challenges of balancing performance, cost, and reliability, especially during economically challenging periods. Number 4. 1933 Pierce Arrow 836. The 1933 Pierce Arrow 836 was an elegant example of luxury from an era when Pierce Arrow was one of America's most prestigious automakers. Known for its distinguished design and exclusive appeal, the Pierce Arrow 836 was equipped with a 366 cubic inch, 6.0-liter inline-8 engine. However, despite its substantial displacement, this engine fell short on performance and reliability. The engine was underpowered, especially given the weight of the vehicle, and it suffered from frequent valve issues that led to regular breakdowns. Compounding these mechanical problems, owners encountered high repair costs, and replacement parts were hard to find, creating a particularly tough situation for budget-conscious drivers who took on this luxury model. By the early 1930s, Pierce Arrow had established itself as a brand synonymous with American luxury, often catering to elite buyers. The 836 was marketed as a premier vehicle for the wealthy, known for its refined craftsmanship and high-class features. During the economic downturn, sales of high-end vehicles like the Pierce Arrow 836 declined. While some middle-class or budget-conscious drivers purchased these luxury cars at reduced prices in the used market, they often found the maintenance and repair demands financially overwhelming. Roughly 135 horsepower, a figure that, though respectable for the time, was insufficient for a vehicle of this size and weight. Despite its large displacement, the 366 inline-8 provided lackluster power, especially considering the car's substantial weight. This mismatch left drivers struggling to accelerate quickly or maintain speed on hilly terrain. Owners expected smooth and powerful performance from a luxury vehicle, but the Pierce Arrow 836's engine often felt sluggish. This lack of power detracted from the model's luxurious reputation and frustrated drivers seeking better responsiveness. The engine was notorious for valve problems, which led to poor performance, rough idling, and even stalling. Valve-related repairs were costly and required specialized labor, which meant that many owners faced significant expenses to keep the engine running smoothly. As the valve issues became recurrent, many owners found that maintaining consistent performance required frequent adjustments and repairs. This increased maintenance load was especially burdensome for those on tighter budgets. Pierce Arrow's luxury status meant that parts were both expensive and limited in availability. For owners accustomed to more accessible, affordable brands, the high cost of parts added a financial strain, and sourcing components often involved long waits. Since Pierce Arrow was a smaller, high-end automaker, the aftermarket for replacement parts was minimal. This scarcity made it challenging for owners to keep their cars operational without significant expense or sourcing parts from specialty suppliers. The 366 inline-8 engine's valve issues and frequent repairs added substantial costs for owners. While the car was relatively affordable on the used market during the Depression, maintenance expenses quickly outweighed the initial purchase price for many buyers. Pierce Arrow's luxury and exclusivity came with financial burdens that did not align with the budget of average or low-income drivers. Owners who took on this car often faced the realization that they could not afford the upkeep, resulting in neglected repairs and reduced performance over time. Due to the scarcity of parts, even those who could afford repairs faced long delays as mechanics struggled to find replacements. This inconvenience meant that the car could spend extended periods out of commission. For some owners, The constant issues and waiting times for parts meant that the Pierce Arrow 836 became impractical as a daily driver, and it was used less frequently than originally intended. The 1933 Pierce Arrow 836 and its 366 cubic inch inline-8 engine embody the dichotomy between luxury aesthetics and mechanical practicality. While Pierce Arrow crafted a visually impressive car with a prestigious reputation, the engine's underwhelming performance and reliability issues detracted from its appeal. The frequent valve problems, difficulty sourcing parts, and high maintenance costs made this car impractical for owners who couldn't afford constant repairs, especially during the Depression. For those interested in early American luxury cars, the 836 stands as a symbol of Pierce Arrow's ambition and craftsmanship, though it serves as a reminder that luxury must be matched by reliable engineering to remain viable over time. Number 3. 1934 Packard 12. The 1934 Packard 12 was a true icon of luxury and power in the pre-war automotive landscape. This grand vehicle featured an enormous 445 cubic inch, 7.3-liter V12 engine, making it one of the most formidable engines of its time. While its size and reputation for power were impressive, the V12 engine was also known for its high oil consumption, frequent gasket leaks, and mechanical complexity, all of which made it costly to maintain. Even as a second-hand luxury vehicle, this car proved challenging for budget-conscious owners to afford. Packard was widely regarded as one of America's most prestigious luxury brands, producing high-quality, powerful cars aimed at the elite. The 12 Series was the pinnacle of the brand's lineup, targeting affluent buyers seeking elegance, performance, and exclusivity. The economic downturn limited demand for high-end vehicles, with many wealthy customers opting to hold onto existing cars. This shift opened the market for used Packard 12s, appealing to middle-class buyers who were initially thrilled by the prospect of owning such a prestigious car, until the maintenance bills began to add up. Approximately 160 horsepower, a significant amount for the time, though it was only fully appreciated when the car was in top working condition. The V12's powerful configuration required a large amount of oil to operate smoothly, consuming more oil than smaller engines. This characteristic meant that regular oil refills were a necessity, which added substantial ongoing costs for owners. For budget-minded buyers, the need for frequent oil refills became an unexpected financial burden. Without constant attention to oil levels, the engine was prone to running rough or even risking damage. The engine's size and complexity led to stress on the gaskets, which frequently resulted in leaks. This issue not only added to oil consumption, but also risked further mechanical complications, as leaky gaskets could lead to insufficient lubrication and engine overheating. Repairing gaskets on the V12 was no simple task. Due to the engine's layout, gasket repairs often involved labor-intensive disassembly, leading to high repair costs that frustrated many owners, especially those who had bought the car secondhand. The 445 V12 was a marvel of engineering for the time, but its complex layout made it difficult for most mechanics to work on. Owners who required repairs or adjustments often had to turn to specialists, further driving up maintenance costs. Due to the intricacies of the engine, any major repairs or adjustments were expensive, even by the standards of luxury cars. Second-hand buyers who could afford the initial purchase price often found themselves burdened by high repair costs as they attempted to keep the vehicle in running condition. For many owners, the Packard 12's high oil consumption and constant need for repairs made it difficult to sustain. Even though some buyers were initially able to purchase the car affordably on the second-hand market, keeping it in top condition quickly became financially taxing. Middle-class buyers who initially bought the Packard 12 were often unaware of the steep maintenance costs. The engine's high demand for oil, specialized gaskets, and regular tune-ups meant that ownership was only realistic for those with steady disposable income. Not every mechanic was equipped to handle the 12's V12, and finding specialists to work on this engine in a smaller town or rural area was a significant challenge. This inaccessibility meant that even minor problems could lead to extended downtime, as owners waited for parts or access to qualified repair facilities. While powerful, the engine's complexities meant it was less reliable than simpler engines of the time. Routine breakdowns were common, especially in hot weather or when the engine had not been properly maintained. This lack of reliability reduced the practicality of the car for daily use, further diminishing its appeal to owners outside of affluent circles. The 1934 Packard 12 stands as a symbol of American automotive ambition and engineering prowess. With its 445 cubic inch V12 engine, this car was powerful and luxurious, catering to the elite's desire for grandeur. However, the engine's high oil consumption, frequent gasket leaks, and intricate design made it a maintenance challenge. While second-hand buyers were attracted to the allure of the Packard 12, many found that the ongoing costs of keeping this V12 engine running were prohibitive. For today's collectors, the Packard 12 represents a classic challenge and a piece of luxury history, embodying both the benefits and limitations of high-end engineering from a bygone era. Number 2. 1933 REO Flying Cloud. The 1933 REO Flying Cloud holds a unique place in American automotive history. Originally marketed as a sophisticated, accessible vehicle with a straight-eight engine, it promised smooth and powerful performance for the discerning driver. However, the 268 cubic inch, 4.4-liter, straight-eight engine fell short of expectations, earning a reputation for unreliability due to frequent carburetor and ignition issues. These recurring problems led to rough idling, misfiring, and substantial repair needs, which ultimately discouraged even budget-conscious buyers. Founded by Ransom E. Olds, the REO Motorcar Company was well regarded for producing quality, mid-tier vehicles that were innovative yet reliable. In the early 1930s, the REO brand was respected, but faced challenges in a competitive market during the Great Depression. The Flying Cloud was introduced as an aspirational model intended to compete with both affordable and premium cars. Its sophisticated design and straight-eight engine aimed to attract buyers who wanted a sense of luxury without the high price tag. As the nation dealt with the economic impacts of the Great Depression, car buyers prioritized reliability and affordability over luxury. REO's target audience, often middle-class drivers, sought a reliable vehicle to handle both city and country roads with minimal maintenance needs. Intended to offer smooth performance with respectable power for its class, this straight-eight was theoretically a step up from the six-cylinder engines common in lower-priced vehicles at the time. The carburetor was notorious for clogging and miscalibration, leading to rough idling and difficulty maintaining a steady idle. These issues were exacerbated when drivers neglected regular adjustments or failed to clean out the carburetor. Problems with fuel delivery through the carburetor often caused the engine to run too rich or too lean, which led to misfires and diminished power. Owners reported that the car's performance would fluctuate, particularly under load or at higher speeds. The ignition system was prone to misfiring, a common issue that led to unreliable starts and frequent engine stalling. Ignition problems worsened the vehicle's reputation, as owners often faced difficulties in starting and maintaining a consistent idle. Ignition problems required frequent attention from mechanics, which was both costly and inconvenient. As REO had limited dealer support compared to larger brands, many owners struggled to find affordable repair services, leading to long waits and higher repair bills. Drivers often found the engine difficult to trust for daily use, particularly those who relied on the car for commuting or extended trips. Given its issues with carburation and ignition, the Flying Cloud was regarded as high maintenance, which was an unwelcome trait during financially challenging times. The reputation for unreliability meant that even second-hand buyers were hesitant to invest in the Flying Cloud, as they knew maintenance costs would likely be high and the need for repairs frequent. The frequency of carburetor and ignition problems required regular trips to mechanics for adjustments, cleaning, and replacement parts. These visits strained the budgets of many owners, especially those who had purchased the car, hoping for a low-cost, reliable transportation solution. Many owners who bought the REO Flying Cloud secondhand were frustrated by the constant need for tuning. Maintenance costs often rivaled the initial purchase price of the vehicle, making it unaffordable over the long term for those with limited financial resources. The REO Flying Cloud's reliability issues tarnished the brand's image, especially in a market where larger companies like Ford and Chevrolet were delivering more dependable vehicles at competitive prices. Many budget buyers who initially chose the Flying Cloud over similar models quickly learned that the car's repair costs outweighed any savings they might have expected from its affordable price. This negative reputation impacted REO's broader product line and ultimately contributed to the brand's decline. The 1933 REO Flying Cloud and its 268 straight-8 engine tell a compelling story about the ambitions and challenges of mid-20th century American automakers. While the Flying Cloud was designed to be an accessible, sophisticated vehicle, its mechanical flaws, particularly in the carburetor and ignition systems, ultimately limited its appeal. For many buyers, the high maintenance requirements and reliability issues made ownership impractical, especially during the Great Depression. Today, the REO Flying Cloud is a cherished classic, valued for its aesthetic and historical significance. However, the mechanical issues that plagued it in the 1930s remain part of its legacy, offering modern collectors a unique insight into the delicate balance between innovation, performance, and practicality. Number 1. 1930 Rampage 615. The 1930 Rampage 615 was introduced as an affordable, stylish option within the burgeoning automobile market of the early 1930s. Known for its elegant design and competitive features, the Rampage 615 held appeal for middle-class buyers who wanted more than basic transportation. However, the car's 224 cubic inch, 3.7-liter, inline-six engine had several notable problems, particularly with oil sludge buildup and timing issues. These issues often demanded costly maintenance, which was beyond the means of buyers on a tight budget, and ultimately limited the vehicle's practicality for its intended market. Founded by the Graham brothers in the 1920s, the Graham Page Company sought to deliver vehicles that combined performance and luxury at affordable prices. The brand was positioned as a quality-focused alternative to Ford and Chevrolet, catering to middle-class buyers looking for more refinement. The Graham Page 615 aimed to balance affordability with a touch of sophistication, targeting buyers who wanted a dependable, stylish car. With its inline-six engine, it was expected to deliver reliable performance while keeping operating costs manageable. By 1930, economic hardships were widespread due to the onset of the Great Depression. Car buyers prioritized cost-effective, low-maintenance vehicles, and manufacturers faced immense pressure to deliver reliability and durability at affordable prices. The engine's moderate size and layout were designed to provide balanced power and fuel economy, making it a reasonable choice for daily driving needs. The 224 engine had a tendency to accumulate oil sludge over time, especially if maintenance was inconsistent or poor quality oil was used. This buildup often led to clogged oil passages, reducing lubrication and increasing wear on internal components. Oil sludge buildup caused reduced engine efficiency and reliability. Poor lubrication led to overheating and, in some cases, accelerated wear of vital engine components, significantly reducing the engine's lifespan if not addressed. The engine frequently suffered from timing issues, leading to rough idling, misfires, and difficulty in starting. These timing problems were partly due to the engine's timing chain, which required frequent adjustments to maintain optimal performance. Timing issues often meant that the engine required frequent tune-ups, which included adjustments to the timing chain and replacement of worn components. This maintenance was costly and challenging for budget-conscious buyers who expected a vehicle with low upkeep needs. Oil sludge buildup and timing issues meant that Graham Page owners often faced higher than expected maintenance costs. Many buyers, already financially stretched during the Depression, could not afford the frequent repairs and adjustments necessary to keep the engine in good condition. Graham Page had a relatively small dealer network, and parts were not as readily available as those for brands like Ford or Chevrolet. This scarcity increased repair costs and waiting times, as specialized mechanics were often required to handle engine maintenance. The 615 reflects both the aspirations and limitations of car manufacturers during the Great Depression. Graham Page's attempt to offer a refined, budget-friendly vehicle ultimately revealed the challenges of balancing performance and affordability in an era of economic hardship. Today, the Rampage 615 is appreciated by classic car enthusiasts for its unique design and the brand's innovative spirit. However, collectors must prepare for the same engine issues that plagued the car in its prime, as oil sludge buildup and timing problems continue to be a maintenance concern. The Rampage 615's mechanical issues serve as a reminder that budget-conscious buyers prioritize low-maintenance vehicles. Rampage's failure to deliver consistent reliability in the 224 inline-six engine drove buyers away, emphasizing that affordability should not come at the expense of dependability. The lack of accessible repair services and parts for Rampage vehicles highlighted the need for a strong support network. The brand's smaller dealer network and specialized maintenance requirements added to the frustrations of 615 owners, showing the importance of post-sale support for building brand loyalty. The 1930 Rampage 615 and its 224 inline-six engine illustrate the challenges faced by automakers in an era when buyers had little tolerance for frequent repairs and high maintenance costs. Though the 615 was an attractive and ambitious offering from Rampage, its engine's oil sludge and timing issues led to repeated, costly repairs that were often beyond the means of its owners. Today, the Rampage 615 stands as a historical example of the difficulties in balancing innovation, reliability, and cost efficiency.